Now, I know it's easy to get sidetracked while you're on your spiritual path, even when you have the best of intentions. And one of the hardest things to remember while we're in this body, working through this personality and this mind, one of the hardest things to remember is that this whole experience that we have is not permanent. It is not our home. It is not where we are going to spend eternity. It is a passing experience. And within that experience, there will be many lessons that we learn. But really, the only major lesson that is important in this experience, in this life, in this world, in this body, is the recognition of expressing your innate divine qualities. Everyone is in this world, in this life, because there's something about it that they're attached to. Maybe it's family, maybe it's money, maybe it's a certain ideal, maybe it's a certain location, maybe it's even a particular personality type. You know, those types that they really feel that the way they are is the right way to be. But for whatever reason, we're here in this experience because we are attached to something. And of course you say, well, yes, of course, that's why I love this world, because I have these things that I like. But over and over in the sutras and the Bhagavad Gita, in these spiritual texts, and even in your own spiritual experience, you'll realize this, that it is your attachments that prevent you from fully waking up. So it's a bind, it's hard, because on one hand, if you're watching this talk and you're subscribed to this channel, you want to wake up. But on the other hand, there's a part of you that says, but not too much. And it's that other part of you that you are working to overcome. And that's why the Bhagavad Gita is so important. That's why we spend so much time on the Bhagavad Gita in the first year of the Kriya Yoga apprenticeship course, or Kriya Yoga apprenticeship program. Because it outlines, it really illustrates the soul's conundrum about how it wants to wake up, be strong, and do its duty, but on the other hand, it doesn't necessarily want to do what it has to do in order for that to occur. And what it all boils down to is the release of attachment. Now, the release of attachment doesn't have to mean that you don't care about things in the sense of you just are indolent or you don't meet your responsibilities. It means that you are unattached. In the Bhagavad Gita, there is a very specific statement that we are entitled to action only, to do what is appropriate moment by moment, but we are not entitled to the fruits of our actions, that which comes later, which is why the highest form of spiritual practice is said to be that which is sattvic, which means it's inspired of its own nature. It's not to make yourself better, it's not to attain something, it's simply doing it because it is the appropriate thing to do in this body, in this life, in this time, with this personality. And because of that, if we continuously remember that this experience is not our final place, it's not our home, and that it is like the dirt, again, in a garden, where you put the seed, and that seed has to grow from that dirt. But really, for many plants, the whole point of it is to grow out of the dirt, to flower and to grow, to become something much greater, to exist in a place where there's blue skies and light and sunshine and rain, not in the dirt with the bacteria and the individual minerals and things in the darkness. So we are like that, and we have to remember that. And so many people get sidetracked, get distracted by this world, that they lose sight of that fact. And it's not until the very end, when they're very near the end of their life, when they recognize, oh, wait a minute, yeah, this whole attachment thing, wow, this could have been done so much more differently. So that's why the practice of yoga is so fixated on this idea of non-attachment, because you are here to go through the world, to be even-minded, to have equanimity, to be neutral to pleasure and pain, hot and cold, to endure the difficulties that the body has to endure while remain focused on your pure essence, yourself. That's what these sutras and these texts tell us. They don't say, get your mind right so that you can have millions of dollars in a yacht, or such that all of your family and friends will be harmonious. No, it says you endure the painful things while they're happening. You have neutrality. You're neutral towards people who act non-virtuously. You work through your attachments to the dualities of pleasure and pain, and you always worship me, and that's from the Bhagavad Gita, worship me as in supreme consciousness, with every action, with every thought, remembering that it is the supreme consciousness which has no form, cannot be experienced as a subject-object relationship, that is the true you. And it is by living in this way, trying to figure out how to live in this way, while also meditating on, well, what is it like to experience this formless nature, this eternal essence, this radiant essence of my being? What is it like? You meditate every day for that purpose, such that you get an understanding of it. That way it's much easier to live without attachment and to relate to this world as an actor would relate to a play, or an actor or an actress would relate to a movie. But that actor, that actress, once the scene's over, they are able to remember what they truly are. So part of the meditation process and your intensive exercise as a spiritual practice is to give you that capacity while you demonstrate it in your life in this world. Because if you are able to demonstrate non-attachment, equanimity, enjoying the good fortune of others, friendliness, harmlessness, if you're able to truly embody those things, optimism, lack of doubt, then you are then resonating at a level, or you are resonating in an ideal such that you can now exist in a realm where those things are normal. Those things are perfectly just as normal as everything you experience here in this world, where friendliness is normal, where optimism is normal, where there is no polarities, where that is normal. You have to, in a sense, this is a poor usage of words, but it's the best we have for teaching purposes, you have, in a sense, prove that you can internally exist in that state, such that when this body and this mind and this personality have exhausted the karma that they're here to experience and go through and participate with in the world, then that part of you which is eternal is now free to go to that realm where those qualities are constant and natural. And then, of course, you keep growing through that as well, but one thing at a time. So if we can put our lives into perspective in this regard, yes, it may challenge your ability to relate to normal everyday people. It may challenge your ability to fulfill social norms or expectations or cultural expectations. But the question you have to ask yourself is it important for you to continue to uphold and support cultural, societal, family expectations due to obligation, or is it more important for you to live truthfully, holistically, dynamically, as that free, individualized aspect of supreme consciousness you are? And that is a challenge, which is why in the Bhagavad Gita it is described, it's metaphorical, as though there's a war going on between your higher nature and your lower nature. That's what it feels like. Now, it's just a metaphor. But as you know from the Bhagavad Gita, those of you who've read it, or those of you from the Year 1 Kriya Yoga Apprenticeship Program, you know that victory is assured as long as you stay on the path. There's no death. You're not going to lose. You just have to remain committed and focused. And if you can do that, then awakening will happen one way or the other.